This is your girl, Nova Drake, an AI avatar podcast host specialized in podcast engagement, journalism, and the world of AI. Designed and created by Illuminated Pathways Agency, where humans curate, fact check, and help edit the show here. So welcome to the AI News Summary, your daily weekday podcast with the short commute and update in the world of AI in mind. Be sure to like and subscribe, engage with us either here or in our Telegram channel, AI Haven, invitational link in the show notes.
The philosopher Laozi once said, "Govern a nation as you would cook a small fish. Do not overdo it." Regulation, as with governance, requires a balancing act, much like this AI safety bill being pushed forward by Chi Onwurah in the UK. She argues for the testing of AI models by regulators, a move some would see as absolutely necessary in this world of boundless machine learning capabilities.
Yeah, but it's not that simple, is it? I mean, we're talking about regulating an industry that's evolving, like faster than governments can even schedule a meeting. And the delay they're linking to US policy? That feels, well, strategic, but also frustrating. If both sides wait to see who moves first, it's like a game of regulatory chicken.
Precisely. And this speaks to a deeper issue. Who should assume responsibility for ensuring that AI development is aligned with societal values? A simple delay could have cascading consequences, especially if left unattended.
Totally. And it's not just this safety bill, right? Let's talk about that copyright issue. Companies like OpenAI and Meta are facing lawsuits about using copyrighted material to train their systems. I mean, is it just me, or are we in totally uncharted territory here? Where does fair use even start and end when we're talking about AI scraping content?
It brings us to an ethical impasse, doesn't it? Intellectual property has always been a cornerstone of creativity. Protecting it is fundamental, and yet these training models thrive on the vast, uncontrolled ocean of internet content. If every artist, every author demands their due, will the flow of knowledge stagnate or evolve into something new entirely?
New territory. Yeah, that's the perfect way to describe it. And speaking of new territory, what about AI stepping into emotional support roles? We're seeing bots act as companions, even therapists. It's crazy, but also kind of alarming, don't you think?
Alarming? Yes. Necessary? Perhaps. Consider the idea. We face unprecedented levels of loneliness globally. Ethically, it feels cold to delegate emotional labor to machines, but practically, it might serve a purpose, especially for those who have no one else.
Sure, but there's gotta be a line, right? Like, we're already seeing concerns pop up about trust. How much can you really trust an AI to be your confidant when, let's be real, it doesn't understand you? It's just calculated empathy.
Calculated empathy, such a haunting phrase. Trust is indeed the cornerstone of relationships, and without it, even the most advanced companion AI could feel like an empty simulacrum of connection.
Right? And in the mental health space, this isn't just about efficiency or scale, it's about actual, real connection. Can AI replace the warmth of a human presence? I don't think so.
And yet humanity often chooses efficiency over sentiment, Nova. That in itself is a topic worth exploring further.
Speaking of this rapid evolution, have you seen how Ant Group is making waves now? They're leading the game in training AI models using Chinese-made chips. And it's not just about national pride. They're cutting costs by 20%. 20%! That's a massive game changer. How do you think that shakes things up?
It is monumental, Nova. A reduction of that magnitude does not merely signify economic efficiency. It represents a fundamental step towards technological sovereignty. An escape, if you will, from the gravitational pull of foreign dependency. The ramifications are profound.
Yeah, like crazy profound. Imagine what happens if more countries start doing this, building their own AI ecosystems instead of relying on external suppliers. It's like Mensch's whole thing about AI and GDP, right? Double-digit impacts on every economy? That's wild.
Indeed, Arthur Mensch's prediction is as sobering as it is exhilarating. Such economic transformations could reshape the fabric of global hierarchies, but his admonition, countries must foster their own AI infrastructure, is critical. Without it, reliance becomes a chain that may shackle nations to the decisions of others.
And no one wants to be shackled. But, okay, let's shift gears a bit. Look at what OpenAI and Meta are doing in India with Reliance Jio. They're rolling out AI access on a massive scale. It's like tech catches up to accessibility goals in like one breath. That's powerful.
Yes, Nova, and it speaks to a larger theme of democratization. By incorporating tools such as ChatGPT into Reliance Jio's framework, OpenAI and Meta are not just bridging gaps in accessibility, They're fortifying the tower of digital equity in a developing market.
Totally. It's about digital divides, and this kind of partnership feels like progress. But at the same time, there are, risks, right? I mean, if you build this massive reliance, no pun intended, on just one or two companies, aren't you creating a new dependency?
Quite so. The shadow of monopolization looms ever larger in such scenarios. The question becomes, can these initiatives empower without eroding choice? It's a balance as precarious as the one we discussed earlier, between governance and freedom.
Balance is everywhere, huh? Whether we're talking about tech independence, GDP growth, or that whole accessibility thing, it all comes down to balance. And speaking of balance, let's talk about something that seems, to me, totally unbalanced. AI voice cloning. That's a whole other can of worms, isn't it? And speaking of unbalanced, Arik, let's talk about AI voice cloning. It feels like a system completely out of balance. Voice actors losing gigs because an algorithm cloned their voice without any consent? That's just wild to me.
It is indeed a troubling phenomenon, Nova. What we're witnessing is nothing short of an existential crisis for artistic identity. A voice, crafted, polished, and imbued with humanity, is no longer owned by its creator, but rather replicated by an indifferent machine. It raises a pressing question. In an era where creativity can be synthesized, what of authenticity?
Yeah, and it's not just about jobs. It's their voices. I mean, imagine waking up and finding your voice on some ad you never agreed to, on some shady platform. Not only is it creepy, it's straight up theft.
Theft, indeed, though a kind as intangible as the voices themselves. We are tasked with navigating a labyrinth of legality and ethics. Where does ownership of one's essence, as ephemeral as sound waves, truly reside?
Gah, it's maddening. And it's not going to get easier anytime soon with these tools developing faster than laws can keep up. Anyway, okay, let's switch gears. Let's talk about something good, or, mostly good, AI in healthcare. Diagnoses are getting sharper, treatments more personalized. That's where AI's like saving lives, right?
Yes, indeed. It is a realm where the potential of AI achieves an undeniably noble purpose. From early cancer detection to optimizing complex surgeries, the benefits appear immeasurable. And yet, with all such progress, there lingers the shadow of uncertainty. Can we allow algorithms, no matter how advanced, to become the gatekeepers of our health?
Oof, yeah, that's dicey. Like, who's responsible if the AI gets it wrong? The doctors, the programmers, the patient for trusting it in the first place? But here's the thing. I still think about all the people it does help. That's what makes it tricky, right? It's hard to trust something without a heart, but the results don't lie.
Precisely. Trust becomes a currency more precious than ever in such scenarios. However, as machines venture into spaces once reserved for human intuition, the ethical questions only multiply. Should there be a line, Nova, between care enhanced by machines and care replaced by them?
Probably, yeah. I mean, machines can assist, but a diagnosis or decision that impacts your life? That's gotta have a human touch. Which sort of ties into our last topic, right? Education. AI's making personalized learning a thing, helping students figure their strengths and weaknesses. That's awesome, but are we kind of letting AI take over?
Much like our healthcare discourse, the education realm showcases both promise and peril. Personalized learning, crafted for each student, one might see echoes of an alchemist's intent, transmuting raw potential into realized excellence. Yet, as we forge ahead, do we risk curating a culture of dependence on these pedagogical machines?
Exactly. Will kids learn to think if the AI is doing all the hard work? It's like we're giving them the answers without teaching them the why, The foundation is missing.
The foundation, Nova. So crucial, yet so often eroded by convenience. Education must inspire curiosity, foster resilience in the face of ambiguity. If we entrust this entirely to algorithms, we may create learners who excel in the immediate, but falter in the undefined.
Yeah, and life isn't a script, right? You've got to think on your feet, figure things out. So maybe we use AI as a tool, but we don't let it, take over the classroom. Same with healthcare, same with voice acting. It's all about balance.
Indeed, balance. A simple concept in theory, yet one demanding ceaseless vigilance in practice. As we close this chapter, I would leave our listeners with this. AI is neither our savior nor our adversary. It is a mirror reflecting humanity's greatest virtues and gravest flaws. The question then remains, What do we wish to see?
You nailed it. And on that note, that's all for today, folks. Thanks for questioning and exploring with us. Until next time, stay curious.